Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica. If you are new here, welcome. I am so happy to have you. Today's video is actually going to be comparing my It Bye Bye Pores powder. It's the one that I've used all the time to set my makeup, and I've heard so many good things and raving reviews about the Mercier setting powder, and I have it, and I'm curious to see is it really that much different than the Bye Bye Pores, and what is so much better about it. So I'm going to do half of my face with the It Bye Bye Pores and the other half with this one to compare the two. Okay, so to get started, I'm going to wear my Neutrogena Rapid Repair SPF of 30. I talk about this all the time. I absolutely love this lotion because it is so lightweight and it has SPF in it, and it plays so nicely with all of my foundations and CC creams. I just got it in my hair. And it works in really quickly, so you don't have to wait a while to start applying your makeup. I'm just gonna rub this all over. Okay, I pulled out a foundation that I've had sitting in my drawer for a little bit. I'm hoping it's not dried up. I haven't used it in a while, but it gives really good coverage. It's the Wet n Wild, oh, I still got some lotion in my hands. The Wet n Wild Cushion Foundation. This is in the shade 106A Light Ivory. So it comes with this little pad it's not really that great, so I don't use that. What I do is I just dampen my Real Technique sponge and I just push it right into here to pick up the color to then do. So you can see, just picks it right up. If you notice, I start right at my cheek right here because you want to start wherever the most discoloration or redness is in your skin, because as you move your sponge around, it starts to lighten the formula that you have on your face. So you'll get the most deposit of the color wherever you start. And I'm happy to see that this has not dried up yet because it's been sitting in there for a little bit. I did keep the little plastic cover that comes on it over it, hoping that that would help. But for a drugstore foundation, this is actually the only drugstore foundation that I've ever tried. I was always concerned. I know years ago they always talked about how they would clog your pores, and so I was always very hesitant to ever use drugstore products, only because I didn't want to clog my pores, and I know at the time they weren't really making very good products in the drugstore, and now that has changed dramatically. They have some great products in the drugstore that are very comparable to the high end, and are great dupes. So I would say it's like a light to medium coverage. It gives a very natural kind of matte. It has a little bit of dewiness to it, but it's absolutely beautiful, and it sets so quickly. All right, so I'm gonna put that little piece back on to try to keep it from drying out. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is my eyes. So in my last video, I talked about this MAC palette that I haven't used in a while, and so I pulled it back out to use it again because I forgot how much I love it. It is the X15 Cool palette, and I love the colors that are in this. They actually will be really great for fall that's coming up, although I hope that we get some cooler weather here in Florida. It's still up in the high 90s. All right, so I'm gonna go in with the Blanc white shade here, and I'm gonna put it all over my lids to kind of give it that base color. If you noticed, I put my foundation right onto my eyeshadow, or right onto my lids, because it saves me an eyeshadow primer, and I feel like when I'm doing my makeup quickly or going to work or just every day, I don't really need that more intense. I did find that if you use an eyeshadow base, that it does make your eyeshadow kind of stick to it better, and it makes it pop a little bit more, but for an everyday look, I'm not too concerned about that. All right, so that's just kind of an all-over color just to make it all even. Next, I think I'm gonna go in with like the plums here, because that really brings out the green in my eyes. So I'm gonna start over at like the corner here, and then I'm gonna work it up into my crease. They look like they have shimmer to them, but they're actually more of like a frost color. So they're not like super shimmery. I'm going to do this side to match. But it has a nice pigmentation to it. And they're beautiful colors. They're very soft and easy to work with. Okay, then I'm going to kind of blend it all together so I don't have such a harsh line. I'm going to use the gray with pink mixed together. And just swipe it, kind of like do swirls to blend it together to get a more seamless transition. Okay, and then to add like a little bit of pop and shimmer, I'm actually going to use, this is probably the most shimmery color in here. The rest of them are like a frost, even though they look shimmery, is the silver. I'm going to put it in the very center and just kind of pat it on there. So with the flat end of the brush, I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to kind of pat it right there to kind of deposit it. But look how pretty that is. It really makes the inner eye brighten up and pop. And then I'm just going to kind of put it into the corner right here to kind of bring that color over to give it more of that brightening effect. Okay, and then I really like the way that these shadows work. They're very pigmented, they're very soft. I like using them for eyeliner as well. So I'm just going to go in with my angled brush. This one's by MAC, but they have other ones. And I'm going to go with this plum color. And I'm just going to start at the outer and kind of work halfway in. And just let it fade on its own. There you go. Okay, and that's it for the eye part. Then I'm going to go in with my Benefit Brow Shade 3. And I find the easiest way to do this, for me at least, is to push down my eyebrows. And then just turn it up a little bit. And I just go right over where I pushed it down, because I want it to blend right in and look as natural as possible, but just kind of fill in any sparse areas so that you don't have lots of color and then like hardly anything, especially over here on the end. And then all I do is I take the end, the spoolie on the other end, and push it right back up so it kind of all blends together. There we go. Okay, then I find it easier to put the powder on before I put my blush on. It kind of makes the blush not be so intense on me since I have such fair to porcelain skin tone. So I'm going to go ahead and set it. So on this side, I'm going to put the Mercier powder, and then on the other side, I'll put my Bye Bye Pores. It looks kind of like almost like a yellowish undertone to it. It doesn't look completely opaque or white. So we'll see if it changes any part. I don't know if you can see that in there, but it's more of, it has a yellow kind of mustardy undertone. All right, so let's see. It also looks a little thicker than the It Bye Bye Pores. All right, so that's it on this side. It definitely got rid of any of the shine that there was. That there wasn't much shine, but whatever shine there was, it got rid of. It almost feels like it kind of makes it. It does make it a little more matte, and it kind of makes the foundation almost look a little more to the medium coverage rather than the light. So it kind of adds a little bit more of a color to it. Okay, and then on this side, I'm going to do the It Bye Bye Pores. Kind of loud, sorry. This one also in the container looks a little yellow, but when you deposit it out, it looks more to the white yellowish side, but much lighter than the Mercier one. So let's see, and the powder itself is much lighter too, very airy. Okay, I don't know if you can tell, but this side definitely looks like I have more of coverage with that kind of, with the Laura Mercier powder. It looks more medium, whereas this side looks more light. It also seems like the It by Pores slightly lightened this side of my face. The foundation looks a little bit more of like it has a white undertone to it, where this side looks more like it has a yellowish, more coverage side. So depending on what you're looking for, like this looks more natural, but it does look a little whiter, so you might want to use like a little slightly darker foundation and then add the It by Pores. Whereas this one seemed to keep the foundation the same color. It added a little bit of yellowish to it, but it makes it look more medium coverage. So this side actually looks more flawless, I think, than this side, even though I put on the same foundation the same. So I have to say that this definitely makes my face look much more flawless and put together. So I really like this powder. So I'm glad I picked it up because I was kind of curious about the It by Pores. I've been using it for a while and I kind of felt like it was making some of my foundations look a little lighter. And after looking at the two, it definitely does. And this side looks much less coverage than this side does, just slightly. Okay. So I really like that powder. If you haven't tried it, I think you should. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, especially if you like it to look more airbrushed. I would have to say that kind of looks, this side looks more airbrushed to me because it just looks, I don't know how to say it, but everything looks like a perfect color. It doesn't look like there's any difference in shade, whereas here, like you can kind of still see where it's like a little lighter and then there's kind of pink right here. So you can kind of see your skin coming through more. On this side, you don't really. It's just like, it's still natural looking, but very pretty. Okay, I'm gonna go in with my blush that I really like, which is Bare Minerals. It is the Vintage Peach. The one downside to this blush is that it is a loose powder, so it can be pretty messy, but otherwise it is beautiful and it lasts forever. So I'm going to go ahead and put it on. I've talked about in my other videos how this blush is very similar to the NARS Orgasm blush, but the price point is cheaper. And I don't know how long the NARS lasts, but this definitely has lasted me a really long time. But it gives the same effect as the NARS Orgasm. So if you like that blush, I think you'd really, really like the Vintage Peach by Bare Minerals. Okay, and then let's not forget the eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and curl my lashes. And the mascara that I've been using and really liking is the Maybelline Total Temptation. I do find that you need 2 coats with it, but it elongates your lashes, it separates them, and it gives them a beautiful definition. So I really like this mascara. The price point on it is great because it's drugstore and it's not very expensive. And I feel like no matter what brand you get, mascara dries up really quickly. So this lasts just as long as any other mascara that I've really tried, and I don't find that it flakes very much or gets too dry, so this is just 1 coat, but it really elongates your lashes and separates them out. So I'm going to go ahead and add on a 2nd coat. And it really makes your eyelashes really pop. Okay, and then I'm going to finish off with my lip gloss. So this is the L'Oreal, Lip Shine in Sparkling Rose. This formula is so lightweight and so creamy. I'm surprised I don't have more shades of this yet, but so far I'm really loving this one. So it's very comfortable on the lips, it's beautiful, it gives just enough hint of color to kind of brighten up your face, so it's very pretty. So that's it. All in all, I have to say that I was kind of hesitant when I first opened this up and saw that it was more of a yellowish undertone, because that doesn't usually play very nicely with my, I have pink undertones in my skin, but I have to say, looking in the mirror over here, this side just looks more airbrushed, it looks more put together. This side looks great too with the It by Pores, but it is lighter. You can tell the difference in the mirror here. If you're really looking, you can see that this side looks more like towards my natural color, and natural, I guess, whereas this side looks a little more on the ghostly side because it has like a white kind of cast to it. So I have to say that I can see why people like this powder, and I think if you haven't tried it, I would definitely give it a try. And I'm going to finish up what's left of my It by My Pores. There's not too much left in here, and I'll probably be sticking with this one. So thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I would love for you to do so before leaving, and I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you. Bye.